Katrina's Creations. This is episode 160. Thank you so much for taking time to stop by this week. And before I start, I will tell you what it is I am wearing. This is a shawl, but it's a narrow shawl. It's not very deep. It is called the Bendy Arrow. It's by Charlotte Bory. It is a paid-for pattern, and I'll take it off and show it to you. I don't remember the yarns I used. I know the pink was Frolicking Feet, and I think it was called Barn Roof or Barn Door. The gray, I don't remember what it was. But as you can see when I hold this out, it has a bend. It looks like an arrow that bends, and that's why it is called Bendy Arrow. Now, the nice thing that I really like about this shawl, and this is one of my favorites, is it has an I-cord edging. So see if you can see this. Right along this edge right here, you can see it like rolls. And it does it on both sides of the shawl. What that does is it makes just a nice, crisp, clean edge. It gives it a very finished look. So see if I hold it where the striping is, you can see it a little bit better. Yeah. So I've had this on because it's a little on the blustery side today, but this again is Bendy Arrow by Charlotte Bory. So let's get started with my finished objects. I have several this week. Some are sewing related and one is knit and one is crochet. So we'll start with the crochet. I made another scarf that we discovered last week, could also be used as a summer cowl. And I believe it was Spring made the suggestion, rather than put a tie or a pin, to attach a button. That seems like the best solution. And the other option is to wear it around my hair like that. So I have a second one. This pattern is the virus shawl. I just made it smaller. I believe I used a 3mm hook with this, but it's the virus shawl pattern, and I just stopped it when I got to this size. I could have kept making it bigger, and I would have had a lacy shawl, but I didn't want a lacy shawl. I wanted a scarf. So this is project number 1 that I got finished. Project number 2 is for my granddaughter, and I was making her fingerless mitts, and I finished them. So here they are. You can see the lacy pattern. This is a free, it's a free hat pattern, and I just took the pattern repeat and I put it 2 pattern repeats to go across the front here, and the back is just plain stockinette, as you can see. And there's just about 1 inch ribbing at the top and the bottom, and then the thumb. So we have 2. So those are done. I've got one more portion. I'm still making the hat to this, which I will show you when I get to the works in progress section. So other items in my finished objects, I have a whole bunch of project bags that I made this week. Some of these are in my Etsy shop, which if you are interested in any of those, if you go to the link below to the Etsy shop, you'll find them over there. The first one is a second one of the little tickets bags. These are all like train tickets. And the bottom is a faux suede. And it's just solid little tickets on the inside. And it's a drawstring. The other one that's like this has already sold. But yes, I have one of those in the Etsy shop. And then we're into beige apparently. Then I have this one, which is like berries and leaves. And the inside of that is the same outside pattern. And again, it is a drawstring bag. And then the third one is also brown. And it is again a berries and leaves theme. Just a little darker. And again, the faux suede. and it is a drawstring bag. Because drawstring bags are my favorite project bags. The zippered ones are nice, but I find my yarn gets caught in the zipper. So my favorite bags that I have are drawstring. So I have 3 that are in the Etsy shop, and then I made 2 more, which I'm keeping because they had some things go wrong with them. So I'll show you the first one. There's this one, which the first thing that is wrong is I forgot to match the bottom so that it's kind of like evenly in the center. But not only that, my flowers are upside down. If you notice, look at the stems. This is how they're supposed to look, with the leaves going up. My leaves are falling down. So I could take it apart, but to be honest, it would be more trouble than it's worth to take it apart and put the whole thing back together again. So it's going to stay how it is. So anyway, that one I'm just going to keep because it would bother me to sell it to somebody. So that's the next project bag. And then I had this huge project bag. It's also one I'm keeping because the material and I did not get along. And I'll show you why. It's a tan one again, and it's got the faux leather bottom. But see how it is kind of twisted up here? I kept taking it apart and putting it together, and I don't know what the problem was. It really shows up on the inside. You can see how it just kind of pulls. So, yeah, I would never send this to anybody. But it's a nice, huge bag. So I will just use it for some of my bigger projects. So I ended up with 2 for myself that were seconds, basically. 3 in the Etsy shop. And then I have 1 more, and this is going to be part of the prize for the holiday along. Because I had a little bit more of the ticket, material left. And I thought, what better thing to make a project bag out of than the tickets, because with the holiday along, Sara is doing Around the World in 80 plus days with the Team Crochet and Team Knit. So I was like, oh, tickets will be perfect. So this is part of the prize. There's more of the prize than this, but this is part of the prize from my podcast. I'm not sure what Sara's giving away. You'll have to check that out with her. But yeah. So anyway, that is part of the prize for the holiday along. And it's a little bit smaller bag, but it would still hold a couple skeins of yarn. So yes. Anyway, prize, partway prize. Now let's get to my works in progress. I finished that scarf in crochet, and then I started working on the cardigan. I did not get very far. I only got a few rows, and I'll tell you why. When I crochet, I get tendinitis if I crochet too much. And I think because that's tiny crochet, it bothered it even more. So I do have a hand brace that I can wear. I get tendinitis right here, right along this tendon right there. I have had to have a cortisone shot in it before. It's a crochet injury, apparently. And I have a brace that when it really bothers me, I can put on, but you can't crochet or knit wearing a brace. So anyway, it has hindered my getting some of my crocheting done this week. It's feeling better, but every so often when I start the motion of twisting my wrist with crochet, that's when I feel it right in here. But I did get a little bit done. This is the left side of the cardigan that I'm working on. So you can see by my progress keeper, it's a little donut. Can you see up close? There's my donut with sprinkles. I made it with polymer clay, so it was a lot of fun. But anyway, I like the real thing, donuts. But that's how far I got with it this week. Now knitting, I got a little bit further because, like I said, knitting doesn't require me to move my wrists, so it didn't bother the tendinitis as much. So I started on the hat that matches the fingerless mitts, and I'm holding these 2 yarns together to make it double, so it's a little bit heavier because this is a fingering weight yarn and it would work okay for a hat, but it would be a very lightweight hat. But I knew that I didn't have enough of this yarn to hold it double and get a hat out of it. And I had this yarn, and this is hand dyed, not by me, but it's hand dyed by a company, I believe it's called Sweet Pea. It's been a while since I bought this, but I got this at a yarn shop up in Lidditz, Pennsylvania, and it was dyed especially for the yarn shop, and it was named for them. It's called Ubiquitous, and that's the name of the yarn shop. And ubiquitous, they spell E-W-E, you like, bah! That was a really bad imitation of a sheep, but yeah, you get the point. Anyway, get the point. Yeah, I'm just full of puns today, but anyway, yeah, this was hand dyed by the dyer for the yarn shop, and it's named after them. So I'm holding these together. I am doing, I think it's called the that would be horrible. The Light and Lacy Spring Hat. It is a free pattern. It's the same pattern that the fingerless mitts are being done in. You can't see the pattern a whole lot yet because I've just started it. I have about an inch of ribbing here, and then the pattern starts. But like I said, you can't see a whole lot of it. Yeah, the pattern's not showing up a whole lot yet. And this looks like the hat is really little. This is because I'm knitting this on 12-inch circulars. It actually will spread out quite wide when it's done. These are just the knitting needles I could fit it on and just do it all on the round. I could have done this on double pointed needles, but I didn't want to. So yeah, it's just easier for me to do it on circulars. So that is the Light and Lacy Spring Hat. Yeah, so that's for my granddaughter. That will be the last of my Christmas knitting and crochet. It'll be all done after that. Then I started working on this sweater. Now, if you remember last week, we decided that it would be best if I left the cabling on the front and did the back plain. And because I was knitting the both at the same time and using a skein of yarn for each, it would be interesting to see how much further I went in plain knitting, which is stockinette, as opposed to the cables. So I'll show you my progress here. I've gotten quite a bit done. This is the back, and you can see how far I've gotten. It's about 6 inches from where I left off last week. And this is what I've got left for yarn of the first skein. Now, here is the front, which this is what I've got left. It's not quite, you can see the two together. You can see that this is about, maybe this is maybe half again as much as this, okay? Here is the cabled section, and I haven't done a whole lot with that this week. You can see where I was right here. Here's what it's looking like so far. I think it's gorgeous. It's really turning out pretty, but look at the difference in size. Now remember, I have knit more of the stockinette than I have of the patterned, but that's a big difference. So it will be interesting when I finish the entire skein on both to see how much further I got with one than I got with the other. Now, I did do a little bit of estimating, and knowing that I have gotten this far, and I'm close to using an entire skein, and I'm not even quite halfway up the back, I only have 6 skeins of this total. So I decided I should get some more yarn. So I did do a little searching, and I got a pretty good deal on it. This is, let me show you the yarn. It's James C. Brett Aztec Aran with alpaca. And the color is AL4. So I went online and I did find some not in the US. I found some in the UK, but it was really reasonably priced. It was only $3.99, I believe, a skein. And so I ordered 2 more skeins of it. which should get me through the sweater. And the shipping was only $4 and something, which is super, super cheap. So all total, the shipping and the 2 skeins of yarn cost me around $15. But at least I know that I'm not going to run out now. I'd rather have too much than too little yarn, because I will find out if I have plenty of yarn to do the sweater front and back and long sleeve, then I might make the collar a little bit taller, because the collar in the picture is intended to be kind of tall, almost like a turtleneck type of thing, or a mock turtleneck. And knowing I was going to be playing it really tight with the yarn, I was going to make it into a crew neck sweater. But we'll see how the yarn works out. But knowing that I've got 2 more skeins of this coming gives me a little bit more confidence. But I didn't want to spend all this time and then find out, oh, I'm going to have a sleeveless sweater. That would be, I don't want to make a vest out of this. I want this to be a sweater. So yes, there's 2 more skeins on the way from the UK to get this finished. So that's my progress that's my works in progress. Now it's time to check out what you guys have been making. Now we have our holiday along update, and for those of you who are new to the channel, our holiday along is a team effort between myself and Sara Oliver over at The Lass Who Knits. Go over and check her podcast out. The 2 of us are working together on a holiday along. It has been running since October 1st and will continue until December 31st. And you can enter anything knitted or crocheted, and let us know. You do need to enter it into the Holiday Along Facebook group. It is a private group, so just ask to join, and one of us will, of course, welcome you in, because we want everybody who wants to participate. And post your pictures of your finished object. Tell us in the picture, in the post, roughly how many yards that you've used and what weight yarn. And if you have a pattern or what kind of yarn you used, that way when I show everybody the pictures that are on there, if people see a pattern they like, or a hat or a blanket or something, they know where to go to look for that pattern, because we all like to drool through each other's projects and see what's out there. And I've seen some adorable stuff showing up, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. And to make it even more interesting, we are traveling around the world. Team Crochet and Team Knit are competing against each other in a very friendly, loose manner, because some of us are participating in both crochet and knit. It really doesn't matter. We are just seeing how far we can go. And so all of the calculations are being done by Sara, and she's estimating so many yards equal so many miles. And we are traveling from where she lives in Scotland to where I live in Pennsylvania. So each week we trade out who has one of the teams. So this week I'm doing Team Crochet, and over on her podcast, she's going to be giving you the update on Team Knit. Now, I will tell you, I saw a lot of knitting projects come through this week, and some of them were fairly good sized. So I have a feeling that Team Knit has put a good dent into their travel this week. But let me give you an update on Team Crochet for this week. Team Crochet has achieved 11,357 yards this week. You are now traveling, based on that yardage, you are now traveling through Vietnam. You are just outside the city of Pleiku, which is in the central part of the country. The Min Fung Temple was built just a few years ago. It is surrounded by water and statues, and the unique feature is a 9-tiered pagoda with dragons crouched up in the corners of the roof, and it lights up at night. There's also Nung Lake, which is a nearby undiscovered tourist destination that people go to. In other words, it's not real crowded. A lot of people haven't discovered it yet, but it's a peaceful place to go for a little bit of a retreat. So that is Nung Lake. Now, our next leg of the travel, we are going to be taking a flight from the city of Pleiku, going about 700 miles to arrive in Hong Kong. So hopefully when we get our Team Knit update next week, we will be at least in Hong Kong, or maybe further, depending on how much knitting we all are doing. So that is our update for our holiday along. Now, in my acquisitions this week, as you thought, if you saw the little thumbnail with the little picture with all of the yarn, Karen Lyon, who is SSK Yarner's podcast, she and I had looked at these yarn advent calendars that so many independent dyers are selling. And both of us were like, oh, that would be so much fun to have. That would be really cool to get all these different types of yarn to try and to kind of sample. But then you look at the price, and they can run anywhere from $125 to over $200 for it. There's no way I'm spending that much money. It's just not going to happen. So she and I decided to get together, and both of us have lots of leftover yarn from different projects. We decided to put together our own yarn advent calendar from our leftover yarns and send it to each other. So that's what we did. We boxed up. I will stick a picture in of what mine looked like that I sent to her. And in a minute, I'm going to show you a picture of what hers looked like when it came. But there are 25 small 10-gram balls of yarn in there that are like fingering to sock weight yarns. And they're ones that are from our stash that we have, or leftovers from projects and things. And so we have put those together to share with each other. So each day in December, from December 1st until December 25th, you will see me do an unboxing, opening one of those little yarn packages each day to see what kind of goodies are inside. And then I'm going to use all that yarn that I get and make it into a project. And she's going to do the same thing. We're still debating which projects we're going to do. I think I might do the hitchhiker because that's one that I can make extra long or extra short. And I've made that pattern before, and I think that's the one I'm going to do. So, yeah, so let me show you a picture. I've got all of I did not carry it up here to show you because I stacked all of it into a little basket that I've got, and it's literally mounded up the top and things keep falling out. And every time I walk by, it's going, open me, open me. But I've been trying to be really good and not get into them ahead of time. But the temptation is there. So hopefully I will not cave to temptation. So yes, that is my acquisitions for this week. So look at all this yarny goodness. They're all numbered and waiting for me to open them on December 1st. And there's a nice card from Karen. And there is the mountain of temptation. Now, before I get into the come and get it section, I got to tell you a funny story. My husband and I decided to go, I had to get my driver's license renewed. So we decided we would go and get our real ID at the same time. Now, if you don't live in the U.S., you maybe haven't heard about what the real ID is. It's basically a passport that you're going to need just between the states. If you want to go into a federal building or anything like that, you've got to have this real ID to prove that you really are you. I don't understand the whole thing. I thought that's what my driver's license was supposed to be doing. But anyway, this is over and above the driver's license. So we get up there and you had to produce your Social Security card. You had to show your current driver's license. You had to show your birth certificate with a raised stamp on it. And then if you were a woman and had gotten married, so your name had changed, you had to produce your marriage license. So I get up in line, show them all this stuff, and she's looking at it all, and she goes, first there was a question over my birth certificate. And I was like, well, that's the one that was given when I was born. So then they decided, yes, it was fine, and they accepted it. But then they looked at my marriage certificate, and they said, it's incomplete. And I'm thinking, how can I have an incomplete marriage license? So I looked at her and said, are you telling me I'm not married for the last 38 years? She was, oh, no, you're married. I was like, well, that's good because my daughter and son and my 11 grandchildren would be very disturbed to find out that their parents were not married. Yeah. So anyway, yes, Dave and I are officially married, but come to find out the clerk's office, after we got married and we had our marriage application is, I guess, what we actually had, that was supposed to have been sent back to us after the official marriage or whatever with a stamped thing saying, yes, we actually got married with an official seal on it. Who knew? Anyway, we were never sent that paper, so they never had actually, it was recorded, but they needed proof it was recorded into the court books that we were a husband and wife. I just assumed all of that had been done. Oh, well, 38 years later. But anyway, so we are official now, I guess. We were official before, but you know what I mean. Now we're documented as a husband and wife, and it's double recorded someplace. So, yeah, which is interesting because Dave and I have married each other twice. Yes, within a week of each other. We eloped. My husband and I eloped. In fact, when I was filling out this paperwork today at the clerk's office, I said, my husband and I got married here by one of the clerks 38 years ago. She's like, you're kidding. And I said, nope. So they were looking at the name to see if they knew who the person was. But nobody remembered her because that was so long ago. She might be dead. Who knows? It was 38 years ago. Yeah. Anyway, we eloped. Dave got married in his coveralls because we were trying to get to the clerk's office before they closed, and we walked in the door 5 minutes with 5 minutes to spare. So he never got a chance to get out of his work clothes before we got married. So then a week later, we got married at our church. So the pastor dated our wedding certificate at the church to match the one that was the real wedding, said that it never caused legal confusion or anything. But yes, we married each other. He stuck with me twice, in other words. But yeah, the second one in the church was just reaffirming the first one. But anyway, I thought that was a funny story. Walk in there and wonder, am I really married or am I not? Yeah, we're glad. Yes, there was a little moment of crisis and panic there for a minute, to tell you the truth. And these ladies next to me, they were older than I was. They were probably in their 70s. They are over there cracking up laughing when I'm telling you. I'm saying, my daughter and son and my grandchildren will be very disappointed if they find out I'm not really married. And the clerk's going, and you've been living in sin. And it was like, apparently, if we're not married, they're going, you're married. Don't worry, you're married. So yes, crisis was averted, and Dave and I are really married. So that was my excitement today. No wonder I have gray hair. Yes. Anyway, on to our Come and Get It section. Now, Annie's is offering a crochet magazine. They have two of them, actually, but one of them that I saw that I liked, I think they're the same price and everything, but one is called A Very Crochet Christmas. It's $9.99, and there's tons of Christmas projects, like for your home and decorations and all kinds of stuff in there. It looked like it'd be kind of fun. They also have, I looked for a knitting pattern, that like a knitting magazine that they had. They didn't have any. It was just in crochet. So I looked at the Copeland cardigan kit, and it's on sale right now for $3.99. So if you would like a cheap sweater pattern that's pretty, and it's one of those kind of cascade type of things in the front that's flowy, that's very figure flattering, that's the one for you. It's $3.99. That's Annie's. Bluprint is offering 30% off everything. Everything. 30%. You do need to use the coupon code EXTRA30 in order to get that. So that is Bluprint. Consumer Crafts, I put an advertisement out earlier this week, the 3-tiered cart that I have bought 2 of because I liked them so much, and several of you actually bought some too. They're wonderful for your crafts, and somebody's used them for, my daughter actually bought them for a cleaning cart, because one of you told me that you were using it for your cleaning cart. I don't remember who it was, and said, yeah, I just put all my cleaning supplies in it and roll it around from room to room. I mentioned that to my daughter, and my daughter's like, I like that idea, but then she decided to use it. I'm trying to think, did she get 2 of them? She might have gotten 2 of them. I know she got one to use as a baking cart. She says, I'm going to keep it in my pantry and put all of my baking supplies on it, and then when I want to do my baking, I just roll the whole thing out. And I was like, that's a good idea too. I don't have a pantry, so I can't put rolling carts anywhere. But anyway, they are on sale as of filming. I'm not sure how long the sale lasts. So at the time I am filming this, they are still on sale for $25 a piece, which is actually cheaper than any place else I've looked. So, yeah, hopefully they'll still be on sale when you're watching this, but as of time of filming, which is the 21st of November, they are still on sale. So that is Consumer Crafts. Now, the Dollar Tree has some exciting stuff going on. In fact, when I finish this filming, I'm going to do a little ordering. I've explained before with the Dollar Tree that you can order online. They do sell yarn. It's $1 a skein, but you do need to buy an entire case, which in some cases could be, and so here we go with the puns again. In some cases, yeah, you have to buy a case. Some of the cases are 6 skeins of yarn. Some of them are like 57 skeins of yarn, and you have to buy all 57, which kind of limits you on whether you really want to buy that much or not. However, if you buy their premium home cotton, which is like the cotton yarn that you use for making dishcloths with, the premium home cotton, there's only 6 to the case, or you just have to buy a minimum of 6. So $6 and you get 6 skeins of yarn. But here's the really good one. They just started carrying a brand new yarn, and it's wool. Yes, you heard me. It's wool. It is called Voyager Yarn Company Wool. It is 6 skeins minimum in your order. There's 107 yards per skein, and they have it available in 2 colors. One of them is called Tahoe Charcoal. It's a gray. It's kind of a medium gray, and the other is white. I'm going to be ordering some of that because $1 a skein for wool yarn. And if you live near a Dollar Tree, you can have it delivered to the store and pick it up there, and you don't have any shipping costs. That's a win-win any way you look at it. So I have a Dollar Tree up maybe 6 miles from where I live, so I think I will be doing some ordering because for $6 for 6 skeins, I can't go too far wrong. Yeah, so when I finish this podcast, Katrina's going to grab the credit card. Yeah, and do a little shopping. Not a huge amount, but a little bit. So, yeah, that's Dollar Tree. Ice Yarns. Okay, Ice Yarns is having a Black Friday sale, and it is up to 90% off of selected items. 90% off. Yes. So you do not need a coupon code. Just go over there and click where it says 90% off, up to 90% off of selected yarns. Just click on that. It'll take you over to what's there. So that is Ice Yarns. Knit Crate offers 20% off of your first subscription box, but you do need to use the coupon code KCreations20 to get 20% off. It averages out to, I think it's $5 off of the box if you purchase the member box, which is $24.99. Knit Picks, which is also We Crochet. So there's a crochet section and a knitting section. I just looked in the general yarn because that applies to both. So they are offering 60% off of over 1,200 yarns right now. You do not need a coupon code. They've already marked them down. So that's over at knitpicks/We Crochet. Leisure Arts, I thought it would be fun to do a little stuff with striping yarn. So over on their crochet section, they have a project book. There's 14 projects in this book for $4.99, which is really, really super cheap. I mean, yeah, that's like, I don't know, 40 cents a piece? It's pretty cheap. We'll just say it's pretty cheap. My math can't figure that much out. But anyway, it is cheap. $4.99. It is a downloadable pattern, and it is called Stripe Savvy. Now, over in their knitting section, they didn't have a book similar to that in knitting, but they did have a chevron stripe pullover, a pattern over there, and it is $5.99. So there's a man and a woman on the cover, so I'm assuming it comes in different sizes, and it's like unisex. You could use it for men or women. And then lastly, Lion Brand is having 25% off all yarn and kits. You do need to use a coupon code NOV25 to get that 25% off. Now here in the U.S., it is Thanksgiving on Thursday. The Friday following Thanksgiving is what's called Black Friday, which is when huge sales go on. So any sales updates that happen, I will try to post short little videos to let you know ahead of time. If I run across them, if I get emails. As an affiliate, they send me emails, things like that. So if I know, I will try to pass that on to you and let you guys know. And that is it for this week. And I hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving if you are here in the U.S. And Wednesday's video this week is going to be something special. So the day before Thanksgiving is going to be something special because tomorrow, I'm actually filming on Thursday night. Kim and I, Kim is the one I have coffee with, or tea with every so often, and we meet and we knit or crochet. We're going on a road trip. We're going tomorrow. Thankfully, the weather's supposed to be nice. I don't think there's any snow in that area coming tomorrow. But we're going to West Virginia. It's about 2 to 2.5 hours away from where we live. And we are going to go visit Appalachian Sock Company. If you've been over on the Facebook group and you have seen any posts by Kim Garver, Kim Garver is the owner of Appalachian Sock Company, and she is on a goal to make 365 socks in a year. She does have vintage knitting machines, and she dyes her own yarn. So we are going to go watch the process and do a little interview with her. So I think it'll be fun. And if you've seen some of her socks posted over there, you will see she does some beautiful things, and there's some self-striping yarns, and yeah, we're doing a little shopping while we're there too. Yeah, just because. So it should be fun. So make sure you stay tuned Wednesday for the road trip for the vintage sock knitting machine stuff. Yeah, it should be fun. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I will see you on Wednesday, and just be watching, like I said, for those short little posts if I run across any sales that come up for Black Friday. So thanks again for watching, everybody. Talk to you later.